Hey everybody, Daniel Rubino here with Windows Central, and check it out, we're looking at the Microsoft Lumia 550 today. We're going to do a quick unboxing, and actually our review is almost done for this. I'm not actually doing it. Richard is for our site as he's got it in the UK. But in the meantime, we're going to do this quick unboxing in comparison to the Lumia 635 and Lumia 640, since this device actually kind of competes with it. Now, if you're in the United States, you can't actually go and buy this phone, and to my knowledge, Microsoft won't be selling it here in the US, although it does work on AT&T and probably T-Mobile as well. We got ours from B&H for $150, and it comes in black or white. So let's do this quick unboxing here. So the box is that typical new Microsoft style, nothing fancy. This is a budget phone after all. It comes with Windows 10 Mobile. You got the device right here. We got glossy white, also comes in, I said, glossy black. A little bit different than some of the high-end devices, which have been coming in matte, so a little bit more slippery. First look at this. Basically, this feels very much like a Lumia 635 and kind of like the 640 as well, where you got the hard edges here and the slightly rounded back. Overall, nice feel, though. You're talking a 4.7-inch display. It's not very large, but it is an HD display. Not full HD. It's 720 by 1280. But it's still a big improvement over the Lumia 635, which had a much lower display. Opening the box here, of course, we have the battery. This is a 2100 milliamp battery. So considering the specs on this phone, it should do pretty well in terms of standby battery life and actual talk time. The phone itself is running a Qualcomm 210 Snapdragon, and that's basically at a 1.1 gigahertz. So not too fast, but it's not that different either than what the 635 and 640 ship with, which is a Snapdragon 400 at, I believe, 1.2 gigahertz. Opening the box here, of course, we have our normal plug. Interesting to note, this is a micro USB connector, so this is not Type-C, which is reserved for the higher end. And look at that, though. They do give you headphones. And it's been a long time since we've seen headphones ship with a device. Kind of nice here. I'm sure these are nothing fancy, but you know, if you're spending $150 on a phone, you know, not a bad deal to get some headphones included. So we'll pop open the device now. This device does ship with, I believe it's 8 gigs of internal storage, and you do have a micro SD expansion there, up to 200 gigabytes, which is really nice. Now, and that's pretty impressive if you think about this. The Lumia 550, very low end, but you get the 8 gigabyte internal storage, not a lot, but the micro SD expansion makes up for it. You can install apps, videos, whatever you want to that SD card for continued expansion. This is a single SIM device. There are some dual SIM ones out there as well. We already put our AT&T card in there, and it does work with LTE there. There is your rear speaker. Of course, you have your camera. We'll add in the battery here. In terms of the camera, you're talking about a 5 megapixel rear one there. It is autofocus, which is pretty awesome. On a lot of low-end devices, Microsoft, or specifically Nokia in the past, have given us pretty decent cameras in the back, but they were fixed focus. I believe the Lumia 635 is fixed focus. So having autofocus is actually a pretty big deal. And of course, there's also a flash. Now, actually, I'll just show you here. This is a 635. 635 came out quite a while ago, but when it came out, it was $168 on T-Mobile versus $150 flat here unlocked. And the specs on the 550 are actually way better than the 635. So you can see now we have things like a flash, for instance, which is really nice. You also have a front-facing camera on the 550, which is a 2 megapixel. In fact, the Lumia 640 also has, of course, a front-facing camera, but it's only 1 megapixel. So, I mean, they didn't do that bad of a job here at the 550. They did trickle down a lot of specs from the other phones into this device. And looking at it, it's overall, it feels really good. We're going to boot it up here. Coming around to the front, like I said, 2 megapixel front-facing camera. You also have your sensors here, so proximity sensors. Things like that have been previously missing on some of the lower-end devices from Nokia and Microsoft in the past. Now those are trickled down here as well. You do get LTE support, which is pretty good. We're going to let this boot up and set it up and do some updates, and we'll come back to you and give you a tour of the OS. Okay, everybody, we're back, and we have the Lumia 550 here in the middle, booted up, and you can see a quick comparison between the Lumia 635 and a newer 640. Fits right in the middle. And actually, if I didn't tell you it was a 550, you would think it would be in the 600 series. The display is actually really good. Like I said, you talk about a 720p display. Looks very sharp to me, low glare, low reflectivity. Feels much better than the 635. Here it is compared to the 640, pretty similar. Although, of course, the 640 here is still running Windows Phone 8.1, so it's a little bit unfair. Overall, though, nice device. The display is 4.7 inch, as I said before, 720p. Responsiveness. Now, so here's the big question that a lot of people have, which is basically going to be about responsiveness and how well this phone performs. And we did do the update for this. Basically, it was 10.586.0, and we went up to the .29 update, which is the November refresh that some of you might have guessed. We don't have the .36, which is even newer. And we did around 38 app updates as well. So this phone is basically running everything like a new customer out of the box. And here's the experience. You can see here, some of these apps are already running. So let me launch weather. And so not much of a resume there. I know some people were complaining that there were resuming issues. I can't say I've really seen that. There goes our site. It seems like the apps basically hopped right between each other with no issues. Here's photos. We'll bring that up. So you can see not much lag. I don't know. Frankly, the performance on this is what I expect from a low-tier device, and I don't find it that bad at all. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. There we go. There's a sample photo. We'll, of course, put a couple of these up on the site as well. Camera is pretty solid. Like I said, it's only 5 megapixels, so you're not going to get a lot out of it. But it is important to remember this does do rich capture, which is actually, I think, pretty impressive for such a low-end phone. So we can launch the camera here. Takes a little while to load, that's for sure. And then you can see you have the rich capture button there, along with the flash controls. So you got some pretty high-end features for the camera that's found in the Lumia 950, found on the Lumia 550, and that's pretty good stuff. Now we do have an AT&T SIM in here, and as you can see, we do have AT&T LTE connectivity, so that's a really good thing. Battery life has been pretty decent, nothing crazy, but we haven't had it too long. The device though feels really good. You got the plastic buttons here on the side; they feel really well. No problem discerning them in my pocket if I was going to pull out. You do have glance screen on here, which once again is a feature that is predominantly for upper tier devices. In fact, the Lumia 735 and 730 didn't even have glance, but now here it is on the 550. That's a pretty great feature in my opinion. So you don't have the double tap to wake, of course, but you do get glance, which is really good, and you get that front-facing camera. Hey, for $150, this is a pretty impressive device in my opinion. I think what we're seeing, it's not impressive if you're looking for a high-end phone, obviously, but what we're seeing is a lot of higher-end features that used to be available in the other Lumias have now trickled down into this one for a $150 price point, and it could be even cheaper in other areas in other countries, especially when carriers actually begin to sell this. Finally, some people may be wondering why Microsoft is even selling this device. I've seen this question asked a few times, and the answer is actually very simple. It is really the only Lumia that you can buy that's a low-end device that ships with Windows 10 Mobile. Now, I know a lot of you guys have maybe a 635 and a 640, and you're going to tell me just go and get Insider program and put Windows 10 on your phone, and I agree with you, or you can even wait for the update. But here's the thing. Companies need to sell phones. They need to have phones on the store shelves. The Lumia 55 is new. They can basically put it on a store shelf and sell it like that. It's going to be a tough sell to put, say, a Lumia 635 or a Lumia 640 on a store shelf when it's been out for 8 or 9 months already and basically call it new with a new operating system. So what they're doing is basically selling a new phone with some basically new features for it at a lower price point with Windows 10 Mobile out the door. It's just to have it on the store shelf so people can actually buy it who are interested. I think it's a good reason, but like I said, if you're looking for a 700 or 800, 900 series phone, obviously this phone is not for you. It's not the same market, but there you go. Head to Windows Central for more information and stay tuned for a full review of the Lumia 550. Thanks for watching. Take care, bye.